Hey guys, Adrian here and welcome to my channel on passive income investing. In this video, I will show you my 9-step guide that I created in order to achieve financial independence. So we'll go through each step one by one and I'll share with you my tips and suggestions to achieve each step. So let's just get started quickly with the definition of financial independence. So it's the status of having enough income to pay one's living expenses for the rest of one's life without having to be employed or dependent on others. So income earned without having to work a regular job is commonly referred to as passive income. So let's get started. All right, guys. So step one is we need to make the commitment. So you got to get motivated and committed by involving your whole family and ensuring everyone is on board. This financial independence, to achieve that, it's a long road. It's very difficult. It will take some sacrifices. So by having your whole family involved, it will be much easier. So you got to make a list of all the benefits financial freedom will provide for you and your family. So kind of like imagine what your life would will be, like you're winning the lottery, for example. A lot of people do that. So this will just help you get motivated. So you need to realize there will be obstacles, there will be sacrifices, but the end result is well worth it. So my tips for success on this step is document your family's passions and hobbies that you would actually have time for once you are financially independent. Involve the whole family as they could act as a support system. And what you could also do is read stories of others who have achieved financial freedom. This will motivate you. I know it helped me in the beginning to get started. So step number two, you gotta know your numbers. So you absolutely need to track your monthly expenses and income in detail like you're running your own business. So you absolutely can't control your money if you don't know where your money is going. This is critical. So what you need to do is create a monthly budget. This will tell you exactly how much money is coming in and how much money is going out. And in order to do that, you need at least 3 to 6 months of data. So this makes us get control. A budget will tell our money where to go instead of wondering where it went. I really like that quote. And also this step will make you rethink your spending habits and which will help you greatly for the next step. So my tips on this step, find a tracking tool that best works for you. So if you're old school, you could go with pen and paper. You could use an Excel spreadsheet like I do, or you could use a free app. There's a million of them out there. A really good one that I've seen, and it's free as well, is called Every Dollar. Another tip I have for this one, if you're a married couple or just a couple, merge your finances to easily track your income and expenses. This is a matter of organization. You'll be much better organized if you do this. So things like merging to one joint bank account or one joint credit card for your expenses. All right, step number three. This is where we're gonna cut our expenses and boost our income. So you gotta rethink the way you see money. Money dictates your quality of life for you and your family. You need to embrace delayed gratification. You gotta sacrifice a bit now to thrive a lot later. So you need to be saving at least 10 to 15%. That's the bare bone minimum, preferably more of your income each month. So you got to analyze your numbers or your budget in step two as a family and look for opportunities to reduce costs. You got to reduce your non-essential, guys. It's very important. Things like entertainment, eating out, vacations, luxury cars, luxury items, things like that. Another key element here is you got to boost your income as much as you can with gigs, side hustles, extra work shifts, etc. Also, at this point in your journey, you should have at least $1,000 saved up in an emergency fund. So the key here is safety and accessibility. So don't worry if it's not making any interest. Just put it in a regular savings account. The key here is that this is only for emergencies. So your car breaks down, medical emergencies, you lose your job, things like that. So my tips for this step is mindset. It's very critical for this step. You got to do whatever it takes to change the way you think about money. You have to respect money and control it and cut non-essentials as much as possible. So a really good tip that I have for you on this one, this is something I do every year. Analyze your budget and call every single service provider you do business with to renegotiate a better deal. So anything like your phone bill, your internet bill, TV, car insurance, house insurance, call them up one by one and try to negotiate a better price. It's much easier if you're a customer for a long time, and it's much easier if you have, one company where you have multiple services. So you'll be surprised at how much you can negotiate, and this is obviously really good because it reduces your expenses practically just for 10 or 15-minute phone call. And another thing is you got to find a side gig. So we're living a gig economy. It's pretty easy to find one these days. There's things like Uber, Amazon delivery, food delivery, walking dogs, babysitting, whatever it is, find a side hustle. It will greatly shorten your journey because it'll help you boost your income. All right, so step number 4 is where we will go after our debt, excluding mortgage. So we need to completely eliminate debt. So list all your debts, excluding your mortgage, of course, so things like credit cards, student loans, car loans, and you need to declare war on debt. This has to be the focus of your life now. So if your debt is with a collection agency, try to negotiate with them a lower number. This will help. If you have a really huge debt, like a big credit card bill, also try to negotiate as much as you can. Usually it's a win-win with for you and the creditor because the creditor will get money and you will get a lower debt. So you need to use the extra income from step number 3 to pay off your debt. There's two ways of doing it, or two methods. So either paying off the highest interest debt first or the smallest amounts first. So this is called the snowball method. So my tips for success on this one, mindset again is critical. Play a game with yourself, challenge yourself to pay it off as much as possible. Being debt free is an amazing feeling, guys. And once you get through this step, you'll be better off than like 75 or 80% of the population. So you're already doing really, really well. I personally suggest to use the debt snowball method, so paying the smaller amounts first, because it could help you boost morale and give you a momentum as you go. Also, if you can't seem to find extra money to pay off debt every month, you got to revisit your numbers in step 2 and look for ways to further reduce expenses and boost income in step 3. Also, negotiate relentlessly whenever possible with creditors to lower your debt. All right, step 5. So this is where we will have a fully funded emergency fund. So use the data from step 2 to figure out what 3 to 6 months of living expenses would be and boost your initial $1,000 emergency fund, which you've done in step 3, to 3 to 6 months of living expenses. So the priority here is safety and accessibility. So don't worry if this money is not getting interest. This is more of a peace of mind. So you absolutely need 3 to 6 months of living expenses just for emergencies in case you lose your job, your car breaks down, or anything else. All right, guys. So step number 6, we got to start a retirement fund. So you got to save at least 10 to 15% of your gross income for your retirement. So if you're Canadian like me, use the RRSP account. It's by far the best retirement savings tool in Canada. You will also get a tax break or tax refunds every year, which ultimately boosts your income. So the sooner you start, the better. Because the bigger your nest egg will be due to a magical thing called compound interest. So I would suggest don't go conservative in your investments, go full equity because they always outperform conservative investments in the long run. So conservative investments like bonds and fixed income securities, things like that. So just a side note that steps 6, 7, 8 are done in parallel, but they are in order of priority. So my tips for this step here is open your RRSP account with the same bank you already do business with and manage the fund yourself to avoid management fees. And the key tip for this one is make it automatic. Set up automatic monthly withdrawals. So basically, you don't trust yourself to manually invest in your retirement fund month to month. There's some months that you'll get emotional and you'll just spend the money or squander it. So by making it automatic, you'll take away this problem. And I also suggest to invest in equities, especially ETFs, because they're safer as they're kind of like mutual fund, and ensure your portfolio is diversified. So not only with sector, but also region. So you don't want to get, let's say, everything, all your investments in Canada, all your investments in the US. You want multiple regions and you want multiple sectors as well. So step number 7, start an education fund. This is if you have kids. This will ensure your kids get a really good education and will ensure their future. So if you're Canadian, we have the RESP account. It was designed for this purpose. The amount will vary. I mean, discuss it with your partner. It depends on, how far you're willing to go with this. But trust me, even a small amount of $50 to $60, if you start when they're like 1 or 2 years old, will compound a lot, and you'll have a lot of a nice fun for them to go to college and university with. So my tips on this one, open the RESP, sorry, with the same bank you already do business with. Just make sure you're all organized. And just like the RRSP, make it automatic. Set up monthly withdrawals so they're automatically done and you don't have to think about it. So this fund will give you peace of mind, knowing that when your kids grow up, they'll be able to go to college and university, no problem. Step number 8. All right, so this is where we're going to pay off our home, pay off our mortgage if you own one. So we need to use any extra income now to make additional mortgage payments. So don't slow down now. A lot of people, when they're, on this step, they tend to slack off because they're like, oh, well, I'm good. It's just my mortgage. I'll buy a new car or I'll spend it on vacations. This is the time to use your momentum to finally become officially 100% debt free. Don't forget, mortgage is still a debt, guys. So we need to pay it off. So my tips for this one is mindset. Imagine how it would feel to own your home outright. It's a really good feeling. Use that for motivation. And the coolest thing that I did, I think that motivated me, is I was always playing around with the mortgage calculators online. So I would always put in, I would do scenarios where I would put extra payments every month just to see how much interest I would save in the long run and how many years it would shave off my mortgage. So a big motivation there. Also, you could switch if you're paying your mortgage monthly, you could switch to weekly. You'll save interest right away, even though it's just a little bit in the long run, but you'll save a little bit there. And what you could do, same thing, make it automatic. So don't trust yourself to every month to put, some additional funds in the mortgage. Call your bank and increase the weekly payments gradually. Even if it's 10 or 20 or $30 a week more, it will add up over time. Check those out with the mortgage calculators. All right, so guys, so the last step is we need to make passive income. We need to make money while we sleep. So to achieve financial freedom, you need to obviously make enough income or passive income to cover all your living expenses that we determine in step 2. So passive income is basically money that you're making by not being actively involved in an enterprise. So we basically have 3 options available here, guys. There's investments, there's rental property, or there's owning a business. So you got to choose your option or your combination of options and then focus all your disposable income on the strategy you selected. So tips for success, no surprises here. I strongly suggest you go with the investment route because investment income is by far the easiest and most hands-off way to get the income. I also suggest if you're going that route, manage the investments yourself. You'll save a lot on management fees, and it's really easy to do so. Uh, it's a lot easier than what most people think. So if you're new to investing or passive income investing, check out my videos. I actually have a video series on the basics of passive income investing and to get you started. All right, guys, that's the end of the guide. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I just want to give a quick shout out to the 2 people who inspired me for the guide. So the first person is Dave Ramsey. He's America's trusted voice on money. He's a best-selling author and a radio host. So he has a really cool radio show. If you haven't heard about this guy, check his videos out on YouTube. They're very interesting. He's basically a guru when it comes to personal finances, paying off debt, getting motivated to do so, etc. So he created a system called the Dave Ramsey 7 Baby Steps, which is kind of his order to achieve financial freedom. So a lot of his steps are obviously the same steps in my guide. And the second person is Kevin O'Leary. So he's one of my idols. He's a businessman, he's an author, politician, and TV personality. Most of you will know him from the show Shark Tank. or Dragon's Den. So he's the shark. He's the best shark in my opinion because he's really the numbers guy, the financial guy who always dwells on the numbers, and he's by far the smartest out of the bunch in my opinion. So check out his YouTube clip there where he goes into his steps for financial freedom. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Once again, please hit the like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on my future videos. And good luck. See you next time.